Hey, welcome back, weirdos. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. If you want to see the mani on my left hand, that is my fave ever. It'll be up in the cards for you to check out. I'm going to do a super simple gel nail art design today over some dip powder. I used a new dip powder from Nail Candy. I'm not mad at it. It was pretty good. It's a little yellow for my liking, but I'm not mad. I'm going to use some polish from CND. I'll leave everything linked down below for you. I'm going to do a little patchwork manicure. I know it's no longer spooky season. It's into November, but I feel like patchwork and pumpkins is really general fall for me and not necessarily just Halloween. So that's what I'm going to be doing, but I'm not going to be talking too much about the nail art. We're going to talk about some kind of heavy stuff. So if you don't want to hear about mental illness and stuff like that, you might want to consider skipping this video. Come back for the next one. I upload every Monday and Thursday. And this will maybe be the only video I make about this, unless, you guys want to have a more in-depth conversation and then I can do something else. But I figured I want to talk about it because maybe I can help somebody else. And what we're going to talk about is my very recent struggle with anxiety and panic disorder. Now, I have always been an anxious person, although I never really knew it. I always was under the impression that I handled stuff really well. Even if you ask some of my closest friends, they'll tell you the same thing. They'll be like, but you handle stuff so well. You're always so cool, so calm, so collected. Nothing bothers you. And I'm like, yeah, on the outside. On the inside, slowly exploding. But that's, a trauma response from things that happened 1.5 million years ago. And I do have a tendency to bottle and to not talk about things. And with my educational background, I have a bachelor's in behavioral science. Recently, it's not like it happened 20 years ago. I got my degree last year, 2021. I should know better. I really should. But you know what they say, those who can't do teach. And I guess I don't do very well. So I guess what triggered this whole episode for me was I had gone through some stuff a bunch of years ago with an abuser of mine. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and I thought I had kind of worked through everything. And then a few months ago, over the summertime, I got into contact with a former girlfriend of my abuser, and we were talking for a little bit about her experience with him and his recent incarceration, which I'm so glad that he finally got locked up for what he was doing. But that kind of triggered things for me. I started remembering things that I didn't remember back before this all happened, and it started a downward spiral. And then I wound up getting into a car accident not very long after that happened. I wasn't at fault. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was sitting at a light and I got rear-ended really badly to the point where I no longer have that car. I have a new car. I'm just grateful no one was hurt. Everyone was fine. It was me and my kiddos in the car, so it was terrifying, but everyone was fine. But after that happened, I started having panic attacks, and I had never had a panic attack before. And I didn't know what it was. I literally called my friend Sarah. You guys know Sarah. She's a nursing student. I called her up and I'm like, I need you to come over. I think I'm having a heart attack. Because of course I would call her and not 911. But she is so close. I'm like, she's going to get here before an ambulance could anyway. So I'll let her come over and check me out and just make sure everything is cool. So she comes over, hooks me up to all her things, her blood pressure cuff, pulse ox. She's listening to my heart and my lungs and all the things, and everything is normal. And I'm telling her what I'm going through, and she's like, I think you're having a panic attack. And I'm like, oh shit. I didn't know. This never happened to me before. And I got through it after a while. It did take a while to come down from that. But after I had that initial panic attack, it was pretty much nonstop. It was nonstop, crippling anxiety, like to the point where I didn't want to leave my house, and I needed help. And I'm not the type to typically ask for help. Again, ask any of my closest friends. I'm not the kind of person who asks for help. I'm the helper, not the helpee. But I needed to ask for help. So I had an appointment with my nurse practitioner, and I'm like, I need help. And we talked for a good period of time. And she decided that the best course of action for me was a combination of therapy, which I knew I needed anyway, and medication. So she prescribed me with Lexapro. So I started taking Lexapro, and my Lexapro journey was horrible. Absolutely horrible, but I'm a trust the process kind of person. And as you guys probably know, because I do stuff all the time that requires me to literally trust the process, it's what I'm doing literally right now with this patchwork manicure. So I trusted the process, and I made it every day through the most intense sweating in my life. My hands and my feet were like chronically pruny from the amount of sweat pouring through my body. I made it through the hot flashes. I made it through the dizziness and the chronic fatigue and the upset stomach. I lost close to 20 pounds. Not that I'm mad about it. I wanted to lose weight anyway, not a lot, but 20 pounds was a good number, so I'm kind of grateful for that in a sense, although getting there was horribly traumatic and not something I ever really want to go through again. It was miserable. But I have now been on the Lexapro for almost 2 months, and I'm feeling a million times better. I still suffer with anxiety, and not so much, yes, the mental aspect of anxiety, but I suffer mostly with the physical aspect of anxiety. It really affects my body, and that has gotten way better. I am able to now drive safely because I was terrified of driving, and I think that was because of the accident. I can drive again. I can go out in public again. I can pretty much live my normal day-to-day life, and as much as an advocate as I am for not having to take medication, I know that it was necessary. And does that mean I'm going to be on it forever? I hope not, but if I need it, I need it. My therapy is not going badly, although you ever feel like you could do your job better than a professional? I'm sure most of you feel that way, especially doing your own nails, but I'm having a hard time finding a therapist that I jive with and that I think knows what they're doing. For some reason, all the therapists that I find are so young, and I'm like, you have literally no life experience. You don't know what I'm talking about. You cannot relate to me, and I need a different person. So I haven't really found my perfect, helpful therapist yet. Doesn't mean I'm giving up. I'll die trying because I know that I need the help. And that is something I really want to convey to those of you who might be suffering with something similar. Ask for help because the help is available, and whatever it is that you're going through, you do not need to go it alone. There are resources. There are people who can help. I am not a therapist, nor am I a medical professional, so please don't message me and ask me for advice on these things. I will not be able to advise you, nor is that safe. But you definitely want to make sure you're getting the help that you need because you can live a normal life even if you have chronic conditions like I do. I think that one of the key parts of my, I'll call it recovery or remission from the panic disorder, was finding people that also suffered from the same thing that I do. And it kind of happened by accident. I stick to my little bubble, I don't really reach out beyond the scope of what I am accustomed to every single day. And that meant the nail community. And I went up talking to a few people in the nail community that I know, that I've been close with. And it turns out 2 of them actually are also medicated and go through the same thing that I go through. And it was crazy hearing their stories and have it be so similar to mine. It was really so validating. And I felt really a lot less crazy because it can start getting into your head like, maybe it's psychosomatic. Maybe I'm just making all this up. Maybe, I don't know, it's something else and not what everyone is telling me it is. But then you talk to people who are like-minded and are seemingly going through very, very similar situations. And you're like, okay, I feel better now just knowing that someone else has walked this road and I'm not the only one. So finding people that are going through the same thing can be so helpful, which is a big reason as to why I am here right now sharing my story with you guys. And again, this is so recent for me. This didn't all start happening until maybe July, just this past July, when everything really started spiraling and going downhill. My accident happened in July, and it was about a week after my accident that I had my first panic attack. And I never experienced anything like it in the past, ever. I literally thought I was dying. And I have heard people talk about panic attacks before, again, not having any experience. And that's what they would say. They would say that they felt like they were dying. And it was never relatable until I went through it myself. And now I'm like, holy shit, that's exactly what it feels like. I literally thought I was not going to wake up the next morning, and it was terrifying. But getting the help, finding support, and doing the right thing for yourself was so monumental in me finding my rhythm again and getting back to some sense of normalcy. I'm not 100%. I will never sit here and say that, because that changed me forever. But I feel like I'm finally getting a little bit more, quote unquote, normal, back to the way I was pre-panic attack, which I'm so grateful for, because not only is it terrifying, it just feels so debilitating. I have 3 kiddos that are all very active. They all have social lives, and they work and they do the things and the stuff. And I need to be there for them. I need to make sure they get to their places safely. I need to make sure that I'm there for them. And I couldn't do that. And I felt like a horrible parent because of it. But knowing what I know now, and having the most understanding and kind children to ever walk this earth, I know that this was only temporary, and I know that I did the right thing in asking for help and doing the things that I needed to do to get my life back, because I was determined. I was determined to get my life back. I was not about to live another day the way I was living. And I know you guys might be hearing what I'm saying and going, but you worked. You still showed up every single week on YouTube. Damn right I did. You know why? I found a lot of peace and calm in doing my nails. And I'm like, I'm doing my nails anyway. I mean, I'm going to film it. I'm going to voice it over. I'm going to fake it till I make it. And that's just what's going to happen. So yes, I worked every single day. Every single day I showed up, because that was the one piece of normalcy, aside from my babies, that I had in my life. And I have you guys to thank for that. You guys were also a very tremendous part of me getting myself back. If I didn't have YouTube and the nail community and y'all, and I'm getting emotional. If I didn't have you guys, I don't know where I'd be right now. But I just want to say thank you. You guys were supportive, even though you didn't know what was going on. And just knowing that y'all are there, always there, really made such a huge difference for me. And I will be forever for what? I was doing so good. I will be forever grateful for y'all, just so you guys know. So I suppose that the reason I really wanted to put this together and get this out, yes, it's therapeutic for me to talk about, but I also feel like there are people that were in my position that felt like they were alone, that felt like no one could possibly know what they were going through. And I'm going to tell you, you're probably wrong. You could be 100% right, but you're probably wrong. There's probably someone out there who is walking your path right alongside you that you just can't see right now. And I think that can be really transformative. Just knowing that you're not alone can make such a tremendous difference in your remission or your recovery from whatever it is that you're going through, be it mental illness, physical illness, whatever it is. There are people that you can relate to. Now that we've gotten through all of that, and I am sweating. I'm sweating like crazy because I'm getting all emotional in a good way, though. I'm going to go ahead and top coat this manicure. I did throw a matte top coat on these 2 nail arted nails. I'm going to bake it for a full minute, and this is literally the finished look. I think it's absolutely adorable. It's so fall/Thanksgiving to me. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I hope maybe this helps somebody. If you want to share a story, please feel free to comment down below. If not, totally fine. But I appreciate you guys for being here. I hope the rest of your day is as beautiful as you are, and I'll catch you in the next one. Love you, bye.